Okay, so this is a GBP USD bias, but pretty much we couldn't catch any entry, but we still got the bias right because I was expecting a bearish move for London. And the reason why, because first of all, like I said again and again, we mark out our highs and lows of the session. So that would be the high of the Asia session, and this would be the low. And then we look for highs and lows, draws on liquidities from previous day or the hourly. So if we drop onto the hourly time frame, so pretty much there's no other liquidity rather than this one right here, and also this one right here too. So like, this is just too beautiful. Like, I know damn well that once price swept this part, it is going to target the uh sell side liquidity right here. Because why? Because there's no reason for price, like, there's no reason for price to move up here. Like, that is a what, a 75 pips move. Like, that makes no sense. Let me just, yeah. And yeah, so pretty much once price swept this part here, yeah, so once price swept here, it tapped into our order block right here, and pretty much it swept during the early London. But I'm not so sure yet. Like, I was expecting a I'm basically trading off a continuation, but this is kind of new to me, but I'll still document it down. So pretty much price sweeps the Asia, and the reason why I consider this as a sweep, because if we look onto the 30-minute, so there's basically only two candles, like little candles. Yeah, so basically just two candles, like ups and downs. And yeah, and also like price sweeps into the order block and breaks structure to the downside. Yeah, so price here breaks structure to the downside and retraces back up and continue down. Now the reason why I wouldn't enter on this trade, because first of all, I trade based on the sweep of the manipulation of the first session, and then trade based off of the continuation of the next session. So a good example of this, but before we get into that, let me just mark out this liquidity right here. A good example of this would be XAU USD. So like I said, price was choppy as shit, but for some reason still managed to hit our TP, 1 to 2. Yeah, so pretty much if you look at this, so pretty much price swept the draws on liquidity, the sell side liquidity. So if we drop onto the 1 hour, price basically just swept. Like, it is just too beautiful. So Tokyo, Asia swept the previous day low, swept into our fair value gap, and we drop onto the 15-minute time frame. We mark out our draws on liquidity. Our internal draws on liquidity would be right here, and also right here. And I posted this video a few hours ago, but yeah. So look, we drop onto the 5-minute. There's the break of structure, there's the change of character, and this would be our sell side liquidity, actually the buy side liquidity. Yeah, and moving on to London, price continued according to our strategy. So the manipulation of session 1, session 1 manipulation, and then we trade off of the continuation for the next session. So manipulation of the session 1, which would be Asia manipulates the previous day low, and then continued up with the reversals, breaks of structure, and this sweep right here too. And then pretty much price broke structure to the upside. And then moving on to London, a bit early into London, price tapped into our fair value gap right here. Now if we drop onto the 1 minute, yeah, so this was absolutely beautiful. Price tapped here and just went up. Yeah, so that was that is the strategy, trade off of the manipulation and the continuation. But for the GBP USD, I'm still not sure. but I think I'll document it down to see if I could catch trades similar to this. Now, another loss would be BTC USD. So the reason why I consider this as a loss, because first of all, so this would be the the sell side, the sell side liquidity. So price swept, Asia swept here, drop it for 45 minute. So pretty much price swept this one, and it did a change of character. Hold up, was there any change of character? Yeah, so there is a change of character right here. So here and here. Yeah, then price tapped into this and pretty much kept moving up. And for some reason, it would have been better if I entered somewhat around here, because price did a break of structure to the upside. Price did a break of structure to the upside, and came back down, filled our fair value gap. For value gaps right here, if we drop onto the 5 minute, would be better. Yeah, so for value gaps right here are being filled, and yeah, pretty much I could have entered based off of this for value gap, because the risk to reward would have been great. Somewhere around here, and probably target this. But regardless, our TP, it's still not going to be hit, so it's still going to be a loss. So pretty much it is what it is. And as for this trade, I entered right here. Why? Because this one right here, the reason why I entered it, because if you look at right here, price swept, yeah, so pretty much price swept, and price did a change of character, break of structure, like all that good stuff. And yeah, but now another reason I would make for myself another rule, like I shouldn't enter a trade, especially would be if it is late into London, or yeah, basically late into London or late into New York, I am out. Because my trade should either be a continuation of London or the kind of manipulation. So basically there's three. So starting off would be the manipulation of Asia and continuation on London, or manipulation of London, continuation on New York, or manipulation on London and continuation on London. But manipulation on London and continuation on London, I am not so sure of that yet. But as of for the late London, well, I'm going to move out. Like no matter how beautiful the trade is, I would still wait for New York. And yeah.